wealthy guy. He didn't use Bitcoin. He came over here, drove to Arizona with $286,000 worth of his gold because he had no money and no house available. His bank was shut down because he couldn't have access to his bank account.
Was this during the fire? Was this during the fires?
During the fire. Didn't have his driver's license. He lost it. The state wouldn't give him a new license because he had no active mailing address. Real mess. So he came to Arizona to buy a house. He's moving everything over. He said, the only thing I got in my possession that I can get liquid with right now is my gold. I gave him a check for $286,000, and guess what? I didn't need his social, his driver's license. Sort of smiled, and I said, you know, I know you and Brandon talked about how this worked, but boy, this is great. I feel good. I got my money. Nobody bothered me, and I'm protected, and it's private. So you people out there who are sitting on your hands when Wes and I are sending you these requests and Brandon and you are talking to you, you better get active because you're going to pay me $4,000 an ounce the end of the year. Trust me.
You better get your. I highly suggest you get your free packet. You don't have to do anything. It's free, no obligation. Just simply go to worldviewgold.com, fill out the form, worldviewgold.com, or just text Wes and give him your name and address and say, I want the free packet. That's all you got to do. 602-558-8585, 602-558-8585.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to another episode of Live Up to Freedom on this beautiful yet stormy Wednesday. I don't know where you're at, but where we're at, it's kind of on and off, sunny and then stormy and then rain and then thunder. So no complaints though. It is beautiful. I hope wherever you are, you have made it through your halfway week smoothly. Before I dive in and talk about so many things I need to talk about, let's just make sure to put out a prayer request for everyone affected by the shooting this morning at our military, or more specifically, army based in Georgia. As of right now, what I do know is 5 soldiers have been wounded, but it's not just about those wounded. A lot of life has been impacted. The shooter has been arrested, but the identity, of course, is not released yet, or at least I should say before I get ready for the show, it wasn't released yet. So let's pray for everyone involved. Let's pray for our country as these attacks are growing rapidly. And at this point, feels like there is no place it wouldn't happen. You know, there was a time when it was not that it was any better, but there was a time where it was the, school shooting or synagogues or churches. But now it feels like, you have the Manhattan shooter who walks right of daylight in the middle of the street with a rifle and walks up building and shoot people. And then army base, I believe it is one of our biggest army bases that is located, I think it was about 10:46 or so this morning when the shooting happened. Anyhow, let's pray for our country as these attacks go on. And let's pray for our leaders in all stages of, local, state, federal, to hopefully to put our citizens' safety as their priority as they work through their politics and policies. It seems like we need a lot of protection. Hi, Lisa, good to see you. And as always, we are live on different channels. Our main platform is Worldview Tube. You can catch us on worldviewtube.com or install the app. Just go to your App Store, either Android or iPhone, Apple, I should say. Look for Worldview Tube, all one word, and install the app. It is for free. You get a notification and you catch all 24/7 stream of Worldview Tube, which includes my programming here at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. Also, we are live on X America News on X, live on my platforms on Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, Substack, and I think that should do. So wherever you are, we are live. Put in your comments, questions, suggestions. If you have any news updates, I will be looking over and looking at it. And yes, I am aware that since I came back from my last trip, I have not properly set up this office. So I know this hat is creating a lot of shadow over my eyes, and that is completely all right. Okay, I think it's a beautiful hat. Just enjoy the view of the hat. Forget about the eyes. The cat is crawling over here trying to get on the table. Thank you. It is only Wednesday. Okay, there is so much to talk about. I almost don't even know where to begin. Let's start with what I titled this show. In last 10 days, there has always been chaos and confusion when it comes to Palestine, Palestinians, and Gaza. That's not a new thing, but I feel like in last 10 days, it has become dramatically chaotic. And at the end of the day, I pray most for Jewish people because they are being most affected by this new round of confusion and lies and propaganda and all of that going on. Hey, Ian, so good to see you. I know. Well, it will be archived. You can catch the replay later. I know it's bedtime over there where you're at. So anyhow, there is Israeli government, per Netanyahu's approval, is now sitting down as we speak right now. Soon, probably within anywhere from 2 hours until 6 hours from now, our local time, we might have an answer. But so Israel is, they're putting it to vote. Government, Netanyahu already voted yes. Some military members are going for no, but bottom line is they are making a decision on possibly going for a full military takeover of Gaza. That's on the Israeli side. And when President Trump was asked about it yesterday by a reporter, he actually didn't answer, neither pro or against it. He only addressed that he is more concerned about getting food to the starving Palestinians. Bless you, Emma. Apologize. Kitty cat over here trying to crawl up as she's sneezing. Right on my arm. He said his concern is of, making sure starving Palestinians are being fed. I did not address this so in detail, and I don't think I even need to, or do I care for. I don't think President Trump is promoting the starving Gazans. I'm trying to figure out, by the way, sorry, I do have some technical difficulties here because I don't seem to get my feed on Substack, and I don't know why that is. So if I'm looking that way, I'm trying to get on Substack because I know a lot of you guys over there support me on Substack dramatically. I don't think he said his concern is to feed the starving Gazans because he thinks Israel is a starving Gazans. I don't think that's the case. However, that was his concern. That's a topic for another time. Now let's go to Europe. I mean, we know where Middle East stands when it comes to Gaza versus Israel. 95% of Middle East are pro-Palestinians, anti-Israel. They prefer to wipe Israel off the map. Let's go to Europe. Starting with France, about a week ago, or a little less, Macron came out and said that in September, during the EU, whatever we call it, EU something. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be a pro here, but this Substack issue is absolutely very disturbingly annoying. I have changed keys at least 5 times, and Substack is still refusing to receive my feed, even though Restream says it's sending. Just bear with me, guys. You know how it goes. Live shows, right? So Macron decided to say in September, France is going to officially acknowledge Palestine as a country, as a land, whatever. I wasn't necessarily shocked because, well, I know, and a lot of us know, that Macron has always been the Muslim sympathizer, somewhat have a secret love life with Islam. So I was like, okay, great, good for you. But then it got worse. I actually put up a Facebook page. This was on July 30th, that I put up a list of 15 countries who call on the world to recognize the state of Palestine after they admittedly said they're going to recognize Palestine, the state of Palestine, as of September. Let's name names for a second. So we have Australia, Canada, Andorra, Finland, France, Iceland, Ireland, Luxembourg, Malta, New Zealand, Norway, Portugal, San Marino, Slovenia, and Spain. Some of the names, no surprise, I agree, like New Zealand. Well, it's New Zealand. I mean, of course they're going to recognize the state of Palestine. But some of the names, let's say Spain, Spain rattled me, I'll be honest with you. When I saw Spain name in that report, before I put the post up on my own page, after I fact check and make sure it is true, I'm like, really? Spain? Like the history between Spain, Islamization, how can Spain even entertain the idea of wanting to recognize the state of Palestine? Canada, of course, no surprise at all. Australia, I don't know how I feel about it yet. Iceland was a little bit of, what is Iceland even doing? Like, Iceland, it's Iceland. Like, do your own thing. I don't know, make your own ice. Figure of speech, that is. But we have 15 countries now. On September, here in about less than a month, they're going to officially recognize the state of Palestine, led by France. And then we have nothing. We have nothing. I have not heard any other country, anyone in EU come and say, France, Spain, what are you doing? Until today, we're coming up here on my first ad break, so I want to make sure I don't miss that. But let me do a quick sentence here, and then we conclude on this topic when we come back from our ad break. But just keep this in mind. Entertain this while we go here from our sponsor. Entertain this. Until today, the Palestinian Authority and the state of Palestine has not been officially recognized. And this is what they've done between PLO and Hamas and IRGC and Hezbollah. Just go over the idea of when, this is not a if anymore, when they are recognized by majority of European countries and Canada on top of that, and Australia. Imagine where they're going to go with their genocide of Jews after that. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Well, hello everybody. It's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my art studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. But I'm sure, or at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com. Hi guys, welcome back to Live Up Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. I was able to resolve the technical issue with Substack, so hello to our Substackers over there. Now we're streaming. You only missed the first segment, and I'm sorry, I was trying to fix it, but it is fixed. Okay, back to 15 countries officially recognizing the state of Palestine. Until today, without recognition, they've done what they've done. October 7th, right? Imagine when they are given even more authority and more power and more recognition. You all know where I stand when it comes to Islam, Sharia, Islamic governments, Islamic terrorist groups, Islamic ruling in Islamic lands. I don't need to take too much time to go there. But why did I start the show by saying so much confusion? As I said, so 15 countries are about to recognize. Israel is voting on possibly, excuse me, doing a complete military takeover. And then we also have this new, well, not so new, but for a lot of people, new name popping up in Gaza, possibly to replace Hamas. I actually released a Substack yesterday. This one, again, is flying under the radar, and it's not okay. People need to pay attention. And this person has requested not just from Israeli government, but for some reason he figured it's better to go directly to US. So Yasser Abu Shabab is the name of the man. Him and his man, militia, they control certain areas of Gaza. And I will tell you how, why, what's going on. But they control certain sites of Gaza. They're known as the safe zones, okay? And these safe zones, for example, these men, his militia group, they collaborate with IDF, create this safe zone. So a lot of the aid, remember when I did the Substack a few weeks ago on who's really starving Gaza, we talked about the trucks that go in anywhere between dozen to 300 a day. These are the areas, excuse me, that Yasser and his man control. So they make sure that, you know, Hamas cannot do what Hamas does. This is what you'll see. This is the resume of Yasser al-Shabab that is, you know, collaborating with IDF and now is asking officially of US. This is the fun part. He is reaching out to US government, being President Trump and Trump administration, and Netanyahu saying, let me control Gaza, not just certain areas, but the whole Gaza. On paper, that sounds great, right? That's a great idea. Look, a group of men who have already been helping IDF are willing to take over Gaza. If you go and read that Substack on my liveuptofreedom.substack.com, the Substack title is From Hamas to Warlords. It was published yesterday. What was published today? I don't know. Oh, yes, next topic. It was published yesterday. Find it and read it. I don't technically have enough time to read the whole thing to you here right now, but I want you to read it and realize why, number one, enough of this confusion. On one hand, military takeover of Gaza. On the other hand, 15 countries acknowledging the State of Palestine. On the other hand, President Trump is all about Israel should do what Israel wants to do. But on the other hand, U.S. is so concerned about the starving Palestinians, let's send them aid. You see where the confusion is? Seems like nobody can make up their mind. What are we doing? What are we doing? And then on top of the smoke coming out of all of this, Yasser comes out and say, hey, Netanyahu, Trump, no worries, bro. I got you. Let me run Gaza. Why is that a bad idea? First of all, on another Substack, I really encourage you, if you're not subscribed to my Substack, subscribe. You'll hear me constantly say on another Substack, and I think as of right now, if you grab someone, if I had the time, I would have 5 books on Hamas, Palestine, Hezbollah, and IRGC written on my Substack by itself. Anyways, on another Substack, I went over the myth of Israel has created Hamas. It is a myth. But in that, I did say that admittedly, there was a time they didn't fund Hamas. They didn't go find Hamas and say, hey, it wasn't like how US created Al-Qaeda. No, Hamas existed on its own. But Israeli government at that point thought it's a good idea to allow this religious, because back then Hamas wasn't the proxy terrorist jihadists you see today. They were just, on paper, they were a bunch of Muslims building mosques and teaching Quran, right? They said, let them grow. There will be opposition to PLO. Wow, that rhymed. It wasn't on purpose. Look where that went. On the Substack above, from Hamas to Wordlows, or is that what I named it? I don't even know what I named my Substack. Wordlords, yes. I mentioned that this is the same story. We're reading the same story. Is Yasser and his men, are they jihadists? Not yet. Neither was Hamas. Neither was Hamas. However, here who they are. Yasser and most of his men were in prison. Hamas's prison. They were arrested and put in prison. Yasser himself was sentenced to 25 years. The reason he's out and about is after October 7th, on the retaliation by Israel, one of the attacks bombed one of the prisons. A lot of prisoners escaped. Yasser was one of them. A few months later, he reappeared, not as a fugitive. He actually reappeared with his men armed, opposing Hamas in certain areas in Gaza. I want you to pay attention to this part of this story. Yasser didn't come showing up with his militia group helping IDF at checkpoints, bringing aid trucks into Gaza because he loves Israel, because he's not a Muslim, because he wants peace. No, he did it because where we are today. He did it just the same reason Hamas did. Because he wants his so-called opposition rebel militia to take over Gaza. Now, what is his background? Why was he arrested by? He wasn't arrested by Hamas because he was some, blasphemer out there questioning the Quran. No, he was arrested because his man, with their gun, used to smuggle and traffic drugs using these checkpoints and all of these aid trucks. So he was, and still possibly is, a drug trafficker, human trafficker, and also the man who steals from these aid trucks. He has openly on that Substack, you'll find his exact quote. He has said, yes, we stole and we steal from the aids, but not as much as Hamas, so we're not as bad as Hamas. Do you see the picture? People, we've read this book before. I am absolutely amazed that the Israeli government is even entertaining to reread the same story that gave them Hamas, gave the world Hamas. Now they want to try it with Yasser. His militia group called themselves People's Force. Come on, just because they put the word people in there doesn't mean they are for people. They admittedly steal from the aids. They admittedly still smuggle drugs. And now we are so again, the Gaza situation has become so desperate with the 15 countries willing to vouch and legitimize a state of Palestine, with U.S. committing to send more aid to Palestine for the starving Gazans. Israel is becoming desperate enough to pick the next player that is playing from the same playbook. Yeah, as I said, Yasser or his man, you don't see them chant Allahu Akbar and kill people today. However, you do see them regularly doing their 5 times a day prayer. You see them observe Ramadan, fasting, wearing the chafiyeh. They have the basic signs. How many times are we going to go through the same rhythm with different names, different colors, different slogan of different newly born Islamic groups and give them what they need to become the next cancer of our human society? This is what Israel is dealing with. And as I said, apparently, get ready to be offended. That's all right. Apparently, even the newbies in Middle East know who to go to when they want more power, and that is Trump's administration. As I said, Yasser has directly reached out to Trump administration saying, look, let me handle Gaza. Why did they learn that lesson quickly? Well, you all know what happened with Syria. You all know that President took a trip to Middle East He doesn't bother to go to Israel or sit down with Netanyahu, but he makes sure to sit down with the new jihadi of Syria, the leader of HTS that has blood of Christians, innocent Christians on their hands. He makes sure to visit with him, shake his hand, do a photo op with him, clear out all of his sanctions. Of course, that's a message we're sending. Next setup for the next militia group that wants to topple the existing bad regime like Assad. Come knock at Trump's administration door, because we got money, we got power, we got the smile, we got the cameras, and we got good lighting, at least better than Annie's lighting. And again, this one is flying right under the radar. The moment I caught it 3 days ago, I'm like, are you kidding me? This is going to go on before we know it. Yasser is taking pictures with, I don't know, IDF and Netanyahu and Trump and everybody. And a year and a half from today, we got a new, fresh manpower of terrorist jihadis in Gaza for the story to continue. And as I said, then on the other hand, you have the possibility of military takeover. And I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, is the military takeover that Netanyahu's government is talking about, is this the military takeover? May Lord have mercy on all of us if this is what they're planning to do. If Israeli government is planning to do a military full, as they call it, complete military takeover of Gaza to hand it over to Yasser al-Shabaab, we shall pray for clarity for Netanyahu. We shall pray for everyone who's voting on it within next few hours or local time. Because mark my words, as Yasser and his man, People's Force militia is not going to be a bit, a drop, an angle, or a little bit different than Hamas, Hezbollah, IRGC, Houthis, or any of them. Look what happens. You know what? You want to say, let's put aside the Islamic aspect of it. Look, remember Nigeria? Remember when bunch of drug dealer, warlord, and traffickers were handed guns to do local peace? Look where that ended. Or in Cuba, for that matter. It doesn't matter which side of it we look. If we look at him as the Islamic leader with his militia, or look at him as the drug trafficker, human trafficker, thief side of it. Either way, is Israel really desperate enough to listen to the Western countries, especially United States of America, that he's willing to repeat the same mistake he made with Hamas? I hope not. Guys, we're up for a second ad break. Let's do this. Keep your comments coming. When we come back from this ad break, I will not jump into the next topic. I will address your comments, questions, suggestions, updates, whatever you might have. And also, don't forget, share this stream wherever you're watching it. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. I want to thank you for all your support at wvwfoundation.com that helps make possible pushing out 24/7 content for free. Without your support, we'd have to put it all behind a paywall. But thanks to you and your support through our foundation, we're able to push it out for free as a broadcast service and broadcast ministry of WVW Foundation. Please consider going there and setting up an automatic monthly contribution, or go there and make an occasional contribution. If you prefer to support us through the mail, you'll find our mailing address there at wvwfoundation.com. You can also call and make your contribution over the phone by calling 901-825-0652. That's 901-825-0652. Again, all these details are available at wvwfoundation.com. Thank you for your support as we try to help people around the world understand the times through the lens of a Christian worldview.
Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I know. Thank you for sticking with Substack. I think until I could fix that. I will get to your comments here in a minute. As a reminder, guys, what I do, I don't have a backer, I don't have a Soros, and I definitely don't have sponsors. So everything I do, which is more than a full-time job, between the shows and traveling, speaking engagements, Substack writing, keeping history of all Islamic attacks, it's pretty much a full-time job without a pay. So here are a few ways you could support me financially. You can head over to my artist store, lutfstudio.com. That is lutfstudio.com. Use promo code MISSION for a special discount. I just loaded about 30-some new products. I'm kind of excited about most of them. Pick up a product or two. You know, my store has been labeled one of the best gift stores on Etsy. So if you have a birthday coming up, anniversary coming up, a wedding, I don't know, grab a gift or grab a piece for yourself. That's one way of supporting me and receiving a one-of-a-kind handmade piece by myself. Honestly, even when I try to redo what I did, it's not doable because resin has somewhat of a mind of its own. lutfstudio.com, promo code MISSION. Another way you can support is subscribe to my Substack. It's liveuptofreedom.substack.com, liveuptofreedom.substack.com. Those who are on Substack have kindly sent me messages and comments of they are extremely enjoying my writings on Substack because, well, they don't find what I write anywhere else. Not as far as the quality of the writing, but the quality of the content that is very rare to be found anywhere else. I normally publish 2 Substack a day. The third Substack is my live show. 2 Substack, one around 1:30, where it's a topic based. The second one around 7 p.m., where we mention the history of jihad in the day of calendar we are in from day 1 until 2024. And we will continue updating that as years goes by. Third way, if you like to support my mission, that would be donating to our ministry, Live Up to Freedom Ministry. There are 2 ways. Digitally, you can just go to givesendgo.com/LUTF Ministry, or just go to GiveSendGo, look up LUTF Ministry. If you want to do it the old school way of sending a check, we have a P.O. box. You can send your checks. Just make sure the check is to Live Up to Freedom Ministry. You can send that to P.O. Box 1091. That is 1091. The city is Westchester, state of Ohio, zip code 45071. That is where you can send your checks. And yes, your donations are tax deductible. Thanks to New Hope Community Church of Palatine, Illinois, who is covering us in our ministry now. So P.O. Box 1091, Westchester, Ohio 45071. You can send your checks. Those are the ways you can support what I do. And trust me, sometimes it's a lot to do. I am not complaining, however. I want to be very clear. This is not a complaint. I love doing what I do. I love every time that I can grab something that they're trying to, kind of get it under the radar. I grab like, no. We're exposing this. It's okay. I don't hold the power to stop neither Netanyahu or President Trump to do a lot of things they're doing, but I can put it out there. I can tell people, expect for the new jihadi group to be lurking around in Middle East and become a new problem soon, sending their sleeper cells to America soon. And this one is going to be under supervision of a drug dealer, a thief, and a human trafficker. Woohoo! All in names of Allah. Let's get to the comment section. Hi, Dan Dreyer on a Rumble. Good afternoon to you as well. Dan says, I would rather see them spend the money to cure cancer, but here we are. Yes. You know what, Dan? At this point, any American dollar, I would prefer to spend on anything America. Anything America. We have our veterans to take care of. We have our orphanages to take care of. We have our own genuine, decent single mothers who can use our help. We have our own injured Americans from the vaccination and the mandate of COVID who have been disabled, who can use our help. The list goes on and on. We need those money that is being spent either for other people's war, for other people's aid, for other people's research, for other people's gender study. We need every single penny to stay right here in America. Unfortunately, as you said, well, here we are. We're not getting them. So it is what it is. So Okay, let's see. We have Lisa Ann. Let me see if I can read this. There is a Supreme Court case 134 Eastern Santiago. Oh, this is about President Clinton. Oh, 1990. Okay. Let me see if I can scan through it. Mind control with intelligent program. Okay, let me read that for another time because I can see it's not related to the topic of today. So, good afternoon, Billy. Good to see you. Stephen is asking, NATO, CIA playground experimental is also in the Middle East. Not to forget Erdogan and, oh, yes. Oh, I can talk about the CIA. Where do I even begin? I'll begin. Thanks for giving me an idea, Stephen. You know what? I'll work on a series of CIA fireback of CIA operations in Middle East that Middle Easterns do pay the price. So do we today. There is only very like 2 or 3 of them that is public record or they were declassified and people know about. CIA, like one third. I will say this with as a straight face as I can. 1/3 of the chaos and the bloodshed you see in Middle East today, it's CIA, either purposely or plans failure. I don't know if you remember or not, but on one of my programs recently, or well, not recently as of last week, but this year, I actually mentioned this one is out there, declassified. You can find it yourself. After they placed the mullahs in Iran, very shortly after, Carter reaches out to one of the CIA connections saying, we got to get rid of these people. So CIA comes out with, okay, we got to get rid of these people. However you can. Clearly they couldn't. But guess what? The mullahs regime in Iran for 47 years that has funded 80% of bloodshed in Middle East. Yeah. That was a failed mission by CIA. Absolutely failed mission. The same failure that they did with Mossadegh, right? Project Ajax. So yes, that list is long, very long. The Muslim religion is of the devil. The devil lies. Jesus died on the cross for our sins. Jesus spoke truth. Yes, Billy. I cannot argue with what you just said. Again, I have written about that as well. Thank you, William. Good to see you. Oh, I see, Lisa. So what you put out there was regarding the shooting this morning at the Army base. Yes, Roadrunner LUTF Studio is on Etsy, but in order not to make anybody have to memorize the etsy.com/this/that, I created a custom URL. It's lutfstudio.com. When you go to lutfstudio.com, it takes you directly to my Etsy store, and you can make purchases. Wow. You know what? I just want to say, Theo says, sounds like an idea that will keep the killing going. Oh, you're too kind to them. Yes. And you know what? That's the thing. I don't say this because I'm Middle Eastern. I want to be very clear. I want to be very clear. I do not say this because I'm Middle Eastern. I don't say this because I'm Iranian. I do not say this because of what happened to me. I say this because I have watched it. The concept of third world country. Third world countries didn't become third world countries because they were third world countries. No, they became the third world countries by the first world countries. They need the third world countries. They need the chaos and the division and the death and the bloodshed. They need it. Every single one of them. You name it. From Canada to United States of America to France to Germany to Italy to Spain. You name it. They need what you witness in Middle East. There are easy solutions. There were times where Middle East was not what you see today. They imported this problem into Middle East. And now they're importing it into our countries because there isn't enough chaos for them to sell enough Band-Aid. And yes, that includes US. Not from Trump, not from Biden, not from Trump, not from Obama, not from Bush, not from Clinton. Go way back. Keep going. Even before Kennedy. Let's keep going back. Oh yeah, way back. Yes, this needs to continue. A lot of these third world countries could easily become a wonderful source of support and alliance for a lot of Western countries. But we don't want that. Because bottom line is, I don't care who's behind the microphone and screaming peace, unity, yada, 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 yada. It's all just the slogans to them. They know very well, in order to keep their power, they need all these wars and chaos and bloodbath and division and hatred to continue going, or better yet, continue growing. Otherwise, their businesses will be shut down. And by business, I mean their power will be shut down. I have said this about President Trump in the last 6 months. I will repeat it again and again until I see a different move from him. But President Trump himself very well knows what he's doing as well. He is not deceiving these jihadists. No, he's not. He's playing into their blackmail games. President Trump's legacy is pretty important to them. So, he's playing into that. Thank you so much, Sandra Wilson, for your wonderful purchase on Etsy. I just got your notification. I'll make sure to ship these to you as soon as possible. It is about his legacy. It's about his business, which on the last segment, I will talk about that. Another Substack I published today. Again, going something that is not getting enough attention. It should get enough attention. Nobody should call it a win, but we're up for our very last ad break. And I will check on your comments when we come back to make sure I don't miss any questions or comments. And then we conclude on the last empowering jihadists, more jihadists, more jihadists, with all possible administration, including the 15 countries I named on the first segment and Trump administration. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to close out the show.
Nature has a rhythm, a quiet strength, a way of restoring, protecting, and renewing us. Wellness isn't just about how you feel today. It's the quiet choices you make for tomorrow. At myvitamin.com/worldview, we've made daily self-care simple. Quality vitamins, daily supplements, and targeted nutrition. myvitamin.com/worldview makes it easy. Pure ingredients thoughtfully combined, tailored for your body. Formulated by a doctor who has over 25 years of medical practice experience and is a certified functional medicine provider. Visit myvitamin.com/worldview today and take the next step towards strength, balance, and resilience. Discover the wide range of med packs made for you and your loved ones. What you nurture today becomes the strength you walk in tomorrow.
Welcome back to the very last segment of Live Up to Freedom today, Wednesday. Okay, Beth, I like you. I'm looking at your comments here. I'm like, you get it. I like that you get it. She says, this is the highlight that I got my attention. The British Empire never really ended. Thank you. Thank you. The British Empire never ended. The British Empire has been more empowered. We have this saying in Farsi, and there's a TV show that was made years ago before the revolution. It's a comedy kind of a comedy. And there's a character that whatever goes wrong is like, oh, it's the Brits. It's the Brits. And in Farsi, we have this saying when things go wrong with politics, like, it's the Brits, you know. And it's somehow, somewhere, people figured we're just going to start blaming America without paying attention that no, wait a minute, the puppeteer is still Britain. Oh, they are the puppeteer. I don't care how much people the whole monarch of England or nothing, bunch of talking heads. Come on, people. Grab your history books, read the history, and then watch. Pay attention and connect the dots. They still control way more than you would like to think they control. Way more. I know as Americans, we want to think we are the ultimate power. No. Only on paper. Only on paper we are the ultimate power. So, yeah, Beth, I just wanted to give a shout out because I was looking at your comments. I'm like, yes. And yes, Stan. Warmongers are going to keep warmongering. I can't believe I was able to pronounce that. I mean, yeah, pronounce. That's correct. Okay, I exactly have 12 minutes. Let's do this. I don't know how many of you have heard this, and if you heard, in what way. So, President Trump announced that he has come to an agreement with Pakistan. And we are going to send our experts and our equipment and our people and our companies and our money to help Pakistan with their oil reserves. That was the announcement. Followed by, aren't you tired of all the winning? Aren't you tired of all the winning? Are you tired of all the winning? So I did what I always do. I took the time and I wrote a Substack that this one came out today. I actually forgot to send the link to my wonderful producer. But it is right on top of my Substack. If you just go there, you'll find it. Title is Oil, Nukes, and Sharia. What could possibly go wrong? Do I even need to explain further? Okay, number one, I want to give a shout out to one of my wonderful supporters on Facebook. I made a post about 3 weeks ago saying that United States of America has started negotiating, talking, discussing business with Pakistan. This person came at me guns blazing of, you need to check your sources because U.S. doesn't work with Pakistan. We consider them jihadi. Shout out to you. Number one, I don't need to double check my sources because I am the source. At age 41, I don't need to double check myself, honey. Number two, well, I guess I was right. We were negotiating and discussing business with Pakistan because now we're going to go and get them oil. We're going to do it. Woohoo! Because we, again, have learned nothing, right? We have not learned anything from all the mistakes we have made. We have still not learned. Nobody in that administration sat down and say, Mr. President, every time we enable and give leverage to these Islamic countries, we're exactly giving them what I just said, leverage. Pakistan already holds a giant leverage, not just over our head, but over India's head that now you suddenly are not friendly with anymore, which I like an explanation there. It's kind of a Palestine versus Israel situation. U.S. is always on side of Israel. When it comes to India and Pakistan, in the history of existence of Pakistan, U.S. always stood by India's side. When did we change sides, President Trump? Who's advising you, President Trump? Who's teaching you history, President Trump? Did anybody tell you Pakistan is India? Or you don't know that either? So we're bashing India. We're forcing India. We're adding more tariffs on India. And we're making threats toward India while we're sitting over here with Pakistanis. And now giving them even more tools to be more empowered. The very Pakistan, actually, let me read the opening statement of my Substack. The same Pakistan that hit bin Laden, right? Everyone knows that part. While cashing billions in USA, the same Pakistan that lets Christians burn, they do Just in case if you didn't know. They allow Christians to be burned alive. While Taliban leaders hold press conferences in Islamabad, the same Pakistan where no prime minister has ever finished a full term thanks to corruption, assassination, or military coup. For anybody who didn't know, from the day of creation of Pakistan by Brits, from that day until today, not a single prime minister has completed their full term, which is 5 years in Pakistan. None. They were either assassinated, killed, they were arrested for some sort of crime, like the latest one, Omar Khan, who's in prison right now for money laundering, or there was a military coup. Just imagine, what kind of stability are you getting from this nation right now? Talk to me, President Trump. Of all the places, you're like, you know what? Let's go find the most destabilized country that couldn't even stay by itself, because originally Pakistan was a little top bigger. Remember? Bangladesh separated itself from Pakistan too. Not a single prime minister can finish a term. That very Pakistan that holds an estimated 170 nuclear warheads and has a seat at the table of jihadists. You know that, right? Or do I need to prove that to you? That very Pakistan is the one we just shook hands with? What is happening to us? If Biden did this, if Hussein Obama did this handshake, you all know you would be cheering me like, preach it, girl, right now. But we're now all getting tired of all the winning. The double standard is sickening. We are giving so much power to these terrorists who hate our guts. I don't even know what to say. And we consider this a win. Oh, let me give you this number real quick, by the way, because I saw a couple of really hardcore, I know what I'm talking about, oil resources, I don't think they did the homework the way I did, but I have the numbers here. So Pakistan, now, to be fair, President Trump did come out on the announcement saying that Pakistan has massive oil reserves. Now, massive, I understand for some people, massive is massive. For some other people, massive is massive, right? Elaborate. What do you call massive? But within the standard, the normal standard industry of Middle East, at least, where we talk about, let's see. Iran holds over 157 billion barrels. Let me repeat that. Iran holds over 157 billion barrels. Saudi Arabia has over 260 billion. 260. As of right now, estimated reserves from Pakistan are between 230 to 253 million barrels. Million with the M. I'm sorry, President Trump. You're huge and messy and big and the biggest in history. They're all starting to blur into illusion. Pakistan doesn't have a massive reserve that is worth risking our lives, putting our money, our resources, our experts, our equipment to do what? Like when we were sitting back letting him have estimated 170 nuclear bombs wasn't enough, right? It wasn't. Now let's go make him somehow a player in the game of oil, while they are feeding Taliban, right? I don't know. Again, I have said before that you all want to cheer President Trump for all the good he's doing. Please send me a list. It is my job and it is my duty to inform you that President Trump and his administration have shown absolute failure when it comes to dealing with these Islamic barbaric terrorist regimes across the world. And this is the very latest. And again, for anybody who called me crazy a couple of weeks ago when I say I have whispers that we are talking business with Pakistan, well, congratulations. You just proved that you have buried your head far enough in the sand. I'm not going to give up. It is very discouraging. Every time I put information out when it comes to Middle East, I get questioned, who's your source? Hi, how's it going? not to be arrogant, I don't need a source. I am a source. Believe it or not, my job from morning when I pour my first coffee, my ears are listening to Middle East. And when I get the whole, they lie, our people tell the truth. Well, I guess this time I can say our administration hid this, just like they hid the rounds of negotiation, directly or indirectly. So, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Hamas might be replaced with a fresh, new group of militia to become the next Hamas. We're going to put our resources to get Pakistan's massive oil reserves out. Less than 255 million barrels. And we are still holding ceasefire with Islamic Republic of Iran because the mullahs are still trying to get back on their feet. Billy says Canada is still under the power of Britain. Yes, so are many other countries. Roadrunner said, if Pakistan increases the world's oil production, then oil price should come down. That's why OPEC limits output of oil. President Trump apparently thinks India is getting too friendly with Russia. Okay. Yes, absolutely. If that is a great start of your sentence, Roadrunner. If Pakistan increases the world's oil production, they won't. And if President Trump thinks India is getting too friendly with Russia, maybe President Trump should look into how we have been treating India, including Trump administration, including 4 months ago when Pakistan and India were going at it again, and how we sided with Pakistan again. I don't blame India for going and getting friendly with anybody at this point, because Trump administration has absolutely mistreated India on every single aspect of diplomacy. And again, unfortunately, whomever is advising President Trump, President Trump has turned into the safe haven of Islamic terrorists in the Middle East. It is what it is. We may not like it, but this is what he has learned. He's siding with Islamists all across Middle East. Again, the ceasefire with Iran uncalled for. The disaster deal he made with Hamas uncalled for. Siding with Pakistan when Pakistan is trying to attack India uncalled for. Now making deals and shaking hands with Syrian jihadists uncalled for. I'm sorry, this resume of President Trump when it comes to Middle East policy is becoming absolutely Islamist apologist by his choice, not mine. And my job is to sit here and report on it. And you all know, you've known me for long enough. Well, we are stepping into 10 years now at the end of this month on August. For a decade, name might have changed before my sentence, but the sentence has never changed. I don't give free passes to anyone when it comes to enabling the global caliphate. I will name names and I will show the proof. Again, go read that Substack. I am so out of time. I might just get cut off. Guys, I gotta run. We'll see you tomorrow. Myself, Miriam Shah, on Mission for Freedom tomorrow at 4 p.m. Don't forget, liveuptofreedom.substack.com. You can read all about everything I talked about today. I appreciate you being here. I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, may God bless you.
And many other issues that are going on in the Middle East. And then at 1:30, we are going to jump in for a few moments with